Hello, and welcome to our MediFit Wellness Education Exercise Series. My name is Larry Love, and today I have with me one of my colleagues, Chad Earl. Chad Earl is a certified personal trainer and also a nutritionist, and today he's going to be demonstrating exercises for our beginning exercise series. So, why don't we jump into it, Chad?
Great, Larry.
Well, Chad, one of the things that we always want to know is how long should we do these exercises for?
That's a great question. For beginners, the typical range between 15 seconds to 60 seconds, and the amount of sets are 1 to 3, depending on tolerance.
Now, these are considered what we call isometric exercises.
Right.
What's an isometric exercise?
And that simply means holding a joint statically at about a 90-degree or 180-degree motion, just depending on the type of exercise.
Okay. Understanding that these exercises are for beginners, and sometimes there may be modifications that are needed.
Right.
What do you suggest beforehand?
You want to have a great warm-up, and we're going to go through that and show you that warm-up now. And you want to make sure that all the circulatory system is ready to go and the muscles are ready to go to kind of prevent injury and any type of pain.
So with this exercise series that we're going to perform today, we understand today we're going to focus on upper and lower body strength.
Right.
Also core exercises.
Right.
And also balance.
Perfect, yeah.
So why don't we jump into it?
All right, so we want to begin with a light, what's called dynamic warm-up, okay? So take about 10 seconds and you want to stand comfortably and do a few neck rotations here. Not quite all the way around, make a U shape, kind of down and around. Good posture, always practicing good posture, okay? You want to add the upper arms into it in a swim type circular fashion. Take another 5 to 10 seconds of this, then reverse it, kind of backstroke, alternate. Smaller circle, get the rotator cuff lined up, ready to go. Few side bends. Again, getting the blood working, breathing, a bit of a half twist. And then hip stability, balance, up and over. Getting that hip, ankle, knee, all activated prior to exercise. So again, I'm going through it rather quickly for demonstrative purposes, but for you at home, you want to take anywhere between 10 to 20 seconds with each particular exercise. Little ankle flip there. And if something's giving you a pain, easily double it. There's no hard, fast rule. It's only when you feel like you're ready to go, okay? So, there we go. Larry, what's our first exercise?
Our first exercise is the wall push-up. So, why don't you demonstrate that for us? And as Chad is demonstrating this, I'm going to point out some correct techniques and muscles that we're utilizing. So this is an upper body exercise that really emphasizes strengthening the chest muscles, but also exposing and strengthening the rotator cuff, but also it teaches us postural alignment. Now Chad, with this exercise right here, what are some of the common mistakes that people are making with technique?
Well, you want to focus on first, starting from the floor all the way up to the head, okay? So you want to align the feet, depending on your fitness level, we're going to give you a little bit of an ankle rise. From there, you want to squeeze the glutes, lock the hamstrings in place, tighten the core, maintain that nice rigidity as you drop down into the wall, forehead touches, and you apply force through the palms and you push out. So a compromise, you would see sort of a knee bend here, shoulder slouch, pelvic curvature, and now the elbows kind of wing out. So all that force, all that pressure force is being dispensated to the soft tissues as opposed to your proper kinetic chain mechanisms there.
Excellent, excellent. Next, we're going to go into a core exercise, which we're going to turn this mat here, and we're going to give a little bit more of a lateral view, and we're going to have Chad go into a bridge. Now, the bridge is designed to emphasize glute and hamstring strength, but also it will help with core activity. Now, one of the things we want to keep in mind is the alignment from Chad's shoulder to his knee. And on this side, you can see from his shoulder to his knee, very erect. His glutes are squeezed, his stomach has a vacuum, and he's in a perfect position. This is a great position for anybody who's had a history of low back pain or chronic low back issues, but also it's a great sports-specific position. So one of the things we're going to ask Chad is, what are some of the common mistakes people make with this exercise right here?
Well, there's a couple of major ones too. The first one is going to be the knees are going to be separated. Okay, and in that, you're not squeezing the glutes hard enough. You have this wide gap between the knees. You want to be able to bring the knees together. That's the lower ab control. And then you want to apply force through the heels again, always through the heels as opposed to the ball of the foot. That squeezes the glutes and hamstrings. And then apply force through this hip flexor region here. So you don't want to end prematurely there. You want to be able to pop the hips all the way through and extend the glutes and actually work the butt, lower back, and hamstring muscular region there.
Now, Chad, with this exercise, can you overextend?
That's a great question, Larry. And as long as the heels stay bolted down to the ground, the upper shoulder region stays locked in, you're not risking any type of hyperextension. When you go through the balls of the feet and your heel and your shoulders come off the floor, you do risk some kind of spinal compromise.
Okay, excellent. While Chad's down here, we're going to actually have him flip over into our next exercise. And we're going to kind of explain the progression of this exercise. You start off in what we call a 4-point position. And that 4-point position is where both hands are touching the ground and both knees are touching the ground. Now, the progression of this exercise is by extending one leg, okay, extending it to a full extension of the leg, okay, and what this is going to teach you is a core establishment, core awareness. You're holding this for a period of time. It's working on postural alignment. It's also some of the key landmarks. If you see, his shoulders are directly over his wrist. His eyes are facing the mat. They're not looking up. They're not looking away from his body. You can see where his foot is pointed, okay, which is what we call dorsiflexion. So this is a great exercise to establish stomach and back strength. A lot of people put a lot of effort into abdominals, but this helps your abdominals and your back. Chad, what would you say are some of the key components to reiterate here so you don't have bad technique?
Again, you start with this vacuum, and you actually begin that vacuum while you have both hands and knees in the most stable position. So I want to vacuum my core there, which is pulling my navel near my spine. Once I'm there, I lift. Again, flex that foot down, dorsiflect it, and then squeeze the right glute.
Excellent.
Again, posture is key, keeping my head locked down, my eyes right through my thumbs, and I'm breathing while not releasing the integrity of my rectum muscle group. So my rectus always stays engaged, and I don't want to ever let that go while I breathe.
Excellent. I'm going to get you up on your feet, Chad, and we're going to migrate into a lower body strengthening series. So we're going to demonstrate the wall sit and some of the key components to accomplishing an optimal wall sit. So Chad, why don't you demonstrate for us, please?
Okay.
So as you see here, Chad is firmly placing his back against the wall. His hips are pushed out into the wall, and he's going to gradually slide down to a comfortable position as long as he doesn't go below his knees. The hips should never go below his knees, all right? And one of the things we want to point out is a 90-degree angle from his hip to his knee to his ankle. Also, if you notice, his legs are shoulders width apart. His core or stomach muscles are engaged. His shoulders are back. His head is in contact with the wall. He's in a perfect position to fire out those quads and also hamstrings. Perfect position to gain more core strength, but it's a very activity-related specified exercise because it demonstrates sitting to standing. It simulates when we're driving. So Chad, why don't you talk about some of the common faults of this exercise.
Great. So, beginning exercise, you have to make sure you separate and pull the hips away from the pelvic there. You can't just sit straight down, otherwise the knees are going to jet out over the toes. I can't begin the motion by pushing my knees toward the toes. I begin the motion by sitting back in the hips, my butt's got to find the wall, there, and now my butt's in contact, pull my shoulders back into the wall, and the last element, drive the base of my head into the wall. Once I have all three in contact, I now start the descent. So I go as low as I can tolerate with good alignment, and the higher the fitness level, the better the range of motion. So we're not focused on depth, we're more focused on the quality. 3-point steps. Again, to repeat that, I want to begin with my hips unlocking. My butt's got to find the wall. You can use your hands to begin with if you're beginning and you're kind of unstable.
Sure.
So be here first, unlock the hips, the butt's got to find the wall. Once it's there, let the hands down, bring the shoulders to the wall, in with the base of the head, boom. And now start your descent. Keep that ab tightened up. I'm here. I want to hold again anywhere from 15 to 60 seconds. And then I want to come out. You can use your hands to help apply force out of the wall. And come out of it. And there you have the wall sit. So he talked about a couple of ways that you could be compromised. First, beginning by sitting down. The feet are too close to the wall. And my knees are jetted out in front of my toes. My head is off the wall. You can see that, as well as my shoulders. It's a very stressful position on your kinetic chain, on the knees, on your spine. So you want to definitely be at least 1.5 feet off the wall and let the hips seek out the wall. The second part of that is you have too narrow of a base. I'm inside of here and I'm unstable. This is an advanced position that really isolates a different part of the quad musculature. So we're going to use as much as we can initially by being shoulder width apart. Okay? Last aspect is I want to keep my heels bolted down to the floor. I don't want to be here on my toes coming up. Again, that compromises the knee structure there. Too much force. It's in an advanced position. So for beginners, we definitely want to bolt that entire foot down, get a firm base, knees separate, my butt has found the wall, my shoulders meet the wall, my head, and now descent is to your fitness level. Okay?
Lastly, we want to focus on balance. So what we're going to have Chad do is what we call a lateral abducted single leg balance. So he starts with both feet in contact with the floor, and he simply brings his leg to the lateral side of his body. Now, one of the great things that we want to point out here is that balance is more than just standing on one body part, but it's also about maintaining posture. And you can see, as Chad demonstrates this, his opposite side is completely erect. If he turns around, we can also see that there are other muscles that help stabilize this movement. So it's very key that we get his glute muscles to kick in as well as his shoulders to stay retracted, and that's what allows him to maintain balance. So, in review, we just want to let you know for the beginning exerciser, there's 3 things that we have to learn. One is how long you're holding the exercise for.
15 to 60 seconds.
How often should they do it, Chad?
It's a good question. We didn't cover that, but you want to do this routine for about 4 weeks, about 3 times a week.
Okay, and what should be the recovery in between there?
Well, if you can stay tuned to our next video, we're going to cover the proper recovery modality, which is the foam roller, and a comprehensive stretching series that you'd want to do in between on your off days.
Well, Chad, I'd like to thank you for your expert demonstration.
Thank you, Larry Love.
And stay tuned for more exercise with exercise session B.
See you soon.